Welcome to Uber Cube, the podcast we discuss all things Cube, but with refreshments. This is your host, Anthony Adams, a.k.a. Uber Bear, and today I am joined by my brother from another mother.
It's me. It's Stu.
It's hi.
Stuart. It's hi. It's Stuart. No May today. May is taking a personal day, taking some vacation, but we have with us a most esteemed guest, and probably should have really had this person on the podcast a long time ago. But today we are honored to be joined by none other than the legend himself, Mr. Brian Kowal. Brian, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, first of all, let's talk about why you're here. Why people might know you from an event that happens periodically. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm the organizer for KubeCon, which is some people know as the largest and first Cube convention, period.
Ever, in the world?
We're in our fourth year. What's that?
Ever, in the whole wide world, biggest Cube event that ever has been, ever was, ever will be.
Yeah, and it's great. Started 4 years ago, and when it was absolutely insane to run a Cube event at all, and we did it even bigger with I think we had we got 180 people. I think we had about 20 cubes, we had more than that. It was probably 25.
That's about right. Yeah, I was at that first.
I think it was 25 or 30 cubes.
That was it, and then it's grown. It grows every year. It's really cool to see. It's interesting. We've got these little small ones popping up, these homegrown events, and it feels like KubeCon's like the final boss fight. It's so neat because how we do all these little ones, and then everybody kind of just convenes for the end of year wrap up, and we're going to you guys have created the major leagues, which I kind of dig that. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I do want it to be the biggest Cube convention. I don't want it to be like the super tournament of all Cube conventions, though. I think that's a dangerous. I worry sometimes about looking like the Super Bowl of Cube because I don't want it to be only the sweatiest should be there, because I don't want that to be what KubeCon's about.
But you don't want anybody playing you're the best around off of Karate Kid at your event? Is that not what you don't want to be the West Valley?
I mean, I am always ready to hear best around. That's kind of just a great pump up song.
Great
anytime.
Danny Macedo, I believe it was.
I think that's a good sort of starting point, if you will, talking about KubeCon, because the whole concept of sweaty people and competition and all that's a great balance. And I feel but you know what? Let's kick this off the right way.
That's a good build up.
Let's build this into the right way to start an episode of Uber Cube. And we're going to start with our guest. Brian, what you drinking with us tonight?
I brought a tribute beverage because you can't have a KubeCon without Sprecher root beer. So in honor of John Brostoff, I have his favorite beverage of all time, Sprecher root beer, which we've had it at every single KubeCon.
Cheers
to that. Absolutely.
And we're gonna find out what's about to happen here, because I have a home brew. It's basically, we're gonna call it Uber Bear's Jalapeno Pale Ale, which is basically like a Dale's Pale Ale clone that I make, and then on the secondary I add pureed jalapenos, and we're gonna see if it pops. That's the first thing about home brewing. It has to make that sound. And if it doesn't, don't drink it. And then we're going to see if it tastes good. So this is all going to happen live right now. It's like a cooking show, but you don't get to see it.
Well, Anthony,
is this your first jalapeno beer?
I know. I've done about 9 of them.
But what Anthony's setting us up for is, just in case this didn't go as planned, Brian, good luck with hosting the rest of the episode yourself.
Yeah, you're going to have to carry this, because we're going to be coughing and hacking. So let's see. Cheers.
That pop. Cheers.
Let's see what happens here.
Real nice.
I thought I heard an audible pop there.
We're gonna find out. We got to taste it. Taste it. I need you to taste it. This is a big deal.
It's passable.
It's hot.
It's good.
It's good.
All right. So, how we've talked about this. This is something that I don't want to say we necessarily learned a lesson, or maybe that's not a terrible way of putting it. When we did our first UberCube event, we decided to do cuts round by round, and essentially it did organically create a high level of competition, because if you wanted to proceed, dare I say it, through the quote-unquote main event, then if you went into cube number 1 and your record wasn't great, for whatever reason, then you're not moving on. You had the opportunity to, play other cubes, but that was the end of the event for you. And I will say that the feedback that we got about that wasn't great.
It was atrocious.
Definitely bear in mind that we were a much, much smaller event. Even the first iteration of Uber Cubathon was like 48 people, I think we got in that first event.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really a whole lot of other things for people to do. So then we ran number 2, and we decided, you know what, we can still make it competitive, but we ran it like a more Swiss system. So your record throughout the whole event is going to count. So it's not like you're done and dusted if you don't get a great record on cube number 1. So we maintained the desire for people to play their best and play good decks and build well without it getting that kind of feel bad if, the first cube comes along and everything doesn't go well. But there's also the players that just want to come along and have fun. We weren't able, just purely with the size of the event, to just offer that fun environment, right? Because we don't have the space or the numbers. How do you kind of, from an organizational perspective, handle the needs and the desires and the expectations of the players, just to kind of cover the whole demographic of the cube community, right? Because some people, there's a spectrum, if you will, as far as the people who want to be absolute sweat lords, I'm here to win, absolutely W keying until the end of the event. And then there's people that are like, I'm happy to play a desert cube and draft 10 lands.
Mm-hmm. I think cube in general takes care of that to a degree, because I think a lot of cubers are trying to avoid the sweat. And I would say on a player-to-player basis, it's like a lower percentage that is trying to slam those. Like, nobody cubes every week because they want to crush everybody. I don't think crush everybody every week. I mean, obviously they're always out there, but I think I guess that's what I worried when we started CubeCon. We created it in a big tournament format, but kind of the reason I always was really behind that was the biggest challenge of a big cube convention is getting everybody to cube at the same time. And I think this applies to the smaller events that are like 64 people too. But just having that structure gets everybody getting on their train on time, it gets everybody expecting to cube and, jumping into their.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's a very mostly self-regulating community. I'll give the two comparisons. In order to add an appeal, we were at an LGS. We've talked about this before. We offered cash prizes. Cash prizes seemed like we kind of had this concept of we didn't want it to be about the winning of the money, just maybe they paid their electric bill type thing, right? Or maybe they bought a nice magic card from the LGS that we were at. That was literally where our headspace was at. But then I'll flip over the other coin where I'll see something like CubeCon. Yes, we pay an entry fee. We do these things to get into the event, but I do not find it. As a matter of fact, I can attest to, and we're not ones that are chasing records, but even for those that are chasing that win, they want to be CubeCon champion. I have observed they're the best people, and they just want recognition for they played well, they had a good outing, they had a good day or two, right? They navigated several different cubes. Some of them were challenging. They weren't familiar with it. And the ultimate outcome was, I am CubeCon 2024 champion. And it's a cool little hat to wear. I mean, it's cool, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think if you build a mountain, somebody's going to want to climb it, right? So just having it, crowning a champion every year is going to bring people who aren't necessarily even super big cube fans, but still want to win a tournament,
Yeah, no, wholeheartedly
so
agree. Yeah, people want to, you're right. So last year's champion, and then I hear about this, and I'm thinking, that's a really good Magic player, but I think I can take him. That's it's in our nature, right? We just want to do that. Again, we're going to keep referencing the Karate Kid, the best around. It's just what we do. But it's in good sportsmanship, and I do dig that about the vibe of CubeCon. You see people even though the rooms can get a little silent towards the end, these people are very serious. They're in the zone, right? But the same would hold true if you were playing golf, which is Stu's streaming right now, or any other sport where you're serious about actually, driving that green out the gate. You want to get this under par.
I feel like, actually, funnily enough, golf is such a great sort of comparison piece because ultimately there are other players that you're playing against, but your true adversary in golf is the golf course. And I've always felt that when I've sat down to cube, especially when I'm playing a new cube, my opponent is the cube itself, and I am trying to not necessarily break it, but find out new ways that I can enjoy either playing Magic or find a new way to play the cube that maybe the curator hasn't noticed before, or, whatever the case may be. There's always some kind of different mindset than just, I want to draft the best deck. I want to sit sit across from an opponent, and I want to beat that opponent into submission and then move on to the next one. And maybe that's in my old age, I've become less competitive.
MMA, less golf, less Magic.
I mean, well, that's a great. I mean, MMA, perfect example. Your opponent, that's it. That's your opponent, not the ring.
I think one of the things we did with CubeCon was create the perfect middle ground success, though. Instead of making it just about winning the tournament, we made the trophy pins, and that was that's a big deal to the people at CubeCon, is just seeing if they can win one trophy pin on the weekend. And I think having that tiered success level to it makes it so that, you had a bad cube, you didn't do well in your first cube, but you can just go on to the next one and still play for a sweet prize, because it's it's fun to win those pins.
And the trophy pins have become a phenomenon. The smaller ones are doing the trophy pins now. I will be complete disclosure, we did not do trophy pins. I joked about this. Someone asked me, I don't know if I'm the villain or the hero. I don't know if I'm punk rock or just pop music when I say this, but somebody asked me, do you got any pins? I go, no, bro. We got money. I cannot afford to do pins too.
They're like, we don't want your money or your stupid dual land prizes. We want a pin.
Someone wanted a pin. I'm like, no, there's money. You could buy
Here's
a pin.
The thing. Everybody's got $20 though.
Yeah,
exactly. I think a lot of people have written about why people play tournaments, and I think one of the greatest observations on it was Cedric Phillips' write-up of why Magic players play Magic tournaments. But if you haven't read what he's written about it or said about it, you should. But the biggest reason people play tournaments is not to win prizes; it's for recognition. So that's why I think that's why the pin makes a lot of sense, and why it kind of resonates with people above its weight class for what they're getting. Because at the end of the day, they are just getting a little piece of metal. But I don't know.
But it's what it represents, right?
It makes your accomplishments tangible for others to see, right?
I think, I agree, because I think that would be much more fun to me. You could say, I'll give you $50, which is 2.5 times maybe the price of a pin. If we want to say a pin is $20, I'm not going to feel so excited about going onto social media and flashing $50 and saying, look, I won, but being able to show a pin that I won and said, this is the cube that I competed in, and this is the deck that I drafted, and look at this cool collectible thing that I got that I can stick on the wall behind me with a Necropotence and a Mana Drain art and say, this was a memory that I forged for myself in a Magic tournament or a Magic event that was meaningful to me.
So you're telling me a prize?
Don't get any ideas.
We don't get a coupon to the Sizzler.
Don't even think about
that kind of thing. I feel like you could win. That's winning, right? I got $25 at the Sizzler, but I got some. Let's kind of go into the actual CubeCon 2025. I've been at all four. I have been blessed to have cubes in all four. I mean, I'm excited.
Early adopter.
I'm one of your legacies. Yes, my artifact cube is on round 4 now. I'm loving everything about CubeCon. My question for you is kind of tell the listeners. Let's do an overarching. What is CubeCon? Why should they go? What's this event about to look like coming up? Let's really focus on the event here a little bit.
Okay, sure. CubeCon's a 4-day Cube event. It starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday. But there's also a day 0 at my store, Misty Mountain, which is also something if you're coming to CubeCon, come a day early because like there's a whole bunch of open cubing happening in my store the day before the event starts. So keep that in mind. But the way it's structured, I think we went to shit. You're putting me on the spot because now I don't remember
Yes,
anything.
yes, we are. But I can help
this
you.
year. But I think we have 2 drafts now the first day. Is that right?
Yeah, it's close enough. So Thursday has a.
It's either 1 or 2. Yeah, I think it might just be there's a first day the first day is a prequel draft, counts for less points, and it's
Thursday's more casual. Thursday's more casual.
Yeah, it's to kick it off, not make anybody feel bad if they missed Thursday, because we have a lot of people who come in on Friday or get there late Thursday because of their travel. So it's kind of like just a warm up day, so everybody can.
And
get
if
there,
I'm
meet up
being
with people.
fully honest, Thursday is always my favorite day. It's the most. It's like before the fight night, right? We're still being social. Everybody's being amicable. I know that Stu over here is my arch nemesis that I'm going to play later, which I did beat. But I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. But we can be cool right now. Let's talk about what kind of cube you built and all that. It feels like Thursday is almost like an ideas exchange day. It's
social day.
It's a social day. Like, what cube did you build, Brian? What's the vibe of this cube? Tell me how you got this cube. I learned so much more from other designers on Thursday. Thursday felt so, I don't know. It was a cornucopia of just knowledge, and I picked up so many ideas. I remember, a matter of fact, there was one cube I was thinking I don't really want to play that cube. It was the dichotomy cube. I was like, I'm just not interested in playing that. This is the first CubeCon. And then
the black white. I played that one the first year. That was one of the couple that I got to play.
The curator came over to me and talked to me on that Thursday, and it wasn't a pitch. It was just like, hey, I wanted to meet you. I heard about your little podcast. I'm interested. I want to show you my cube. And I'm like, holy cow, this person is on point. I'm loving what they're doing here. Oh my God, I am immediately signing up for your cube. Whereas if I hadn't have done that cultural exchange, that conversation, met that person, I probably would have omitted that cube and that would have been ignorant on my part, but I would have done that. And that person, that Thursday was so special. And I forgive me for not knowing that person's name, but that was one of the most impactful cube experiences. I got little goosebumps right now. I've never sat down and played a game that I did not want to play, wasn't interested in playing, met someone, they explained to me what they're trying to do, sit down and play it, and blown away with it. I mean, absolutely blown away by it. I mean, we all played it. We were marveled by this. That would have never happened without that Thursday.
I went 2-1. I won my first 2 matches in that cube. I went to the final and had a blast. And I will say that I thought very highly of it at first when I first got to review all the cubes. That was one that I instantly thought, I want to play this one. But again, like you say, that Thursday is a wonderful example. Just share stories, share cube stories, share, anecdotes about your experiences, either with cube or with whatever else. And I will agree, I loved the Thursday. Tell us a bit about. So now we've got the day 0 at Misty Mountain.
We got a Delta Bar Night there. We can't skip over Delta Bar Night.
We've got Thursday Delta Bar Night. That's true. That's true.
Right, yeah. The evening we kind of keep a little freer in general. So we have the bar cube going on at Delta Beer Labs. So that's like a great just casual go to the bar, play a cube with people.
It's a wonderful place.
Right,
Delta's amazing.
Great time.
The beer on tap is excellent. I don't like beer. Stu doesn't like beer. The beer on tap is amazing. It's the bar cube vibe, and I'm so happy that CubeCon decided to incorporate that. It's the for lack of better terms, it's the calm before the storm. We're all getting tense up.
Can I slow you down? Do you get really nervous about playing in the main event?
The first cube, I am personally nervous the first cube because I feel like I got put on airs. By the second one, I'm like whatever. But it's always a little tension on the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Is it because you got some big dreams of making the top 8?
No, it's meeting new people and feeling like I got to perform, and I have a podcast, and you know how bad it sucks whenever you talk about Magic cards and you can't play the game? It's like that.
Yeah, you feel like you're not just being judged on your skill, right? It's like you have the audacity to sit behind a microphone and talk about Cube once a week and then release an episode under the assumption that people are going to listen to it. You better show up to this event and you better
put me in the
perform.
chair, Brian. It is a little bit of imposter syndrome, that first cube. That's exactly
Okay.
what I experienced, and I've had others say that to me as well too. When I sit down and introduce me, go, "Oh, Uber
Well, that's
Bear
because
from
you
the
are
Uber
an
Cube podcast."
imposter. That's because you
and
are
then
an imposter.
If
I got bad news for
if
you,
I
bro.
owe 3 that
Sorry.
cube, I'm always like,
Is he actually?
He's a terrible imposter, Anthony. Terrible imposter.
He's
All
not
right.
Uber at all.
No.
It's Uberish. Yes, Uberish.
So Friday, Saturday, main event, right? That's where,
Yeah.
and let's be honest, again, you've got the capability, the availability, the vibe is there across the spectrum of Magic players, right? I felt like it was there regardless of the mood that I was in. If I wanted to show up and be sweaty, if I wanted to show up and just be like, hey, I want to go to the casual space and just find a group of cool people with a cube to draft, those opportunities are there. And I loved that. I've been to CubeCon twice. I did not go to CubeCon last year, unfortunately. I had other commitments. But the first 2 years, I will say that I loved both elements. I loved the main event and I loved the vibe there, and I loved the casual, free play, more social areas as well. But that's kind of the vibe for that Friday and Saturday.
You know what one of my favorite things though is when you have kind of that mix of like competitive and casual players in the same cube, and they're like kind of learning why it's fun for each other. Like the casual players are learning skills from the good players, and then the good players are learning like, hey, that's like, maybe it's not all about just, smashing the hell out of people. These guys are having fun, just exploring. I think that's like kind of the sweet spot of it's kind of in my head now, like having done CubeCon a bunch and like played some other like more casual formats. It feels like the sweet spot of it is when the casual and the competitive players can like find shared ground.
The other fascinating part to me about CubeCon, and this could be for any Cube event, any social thing, but CubeCon in particular, is like Uber Bear's Artifact Cube. We've talked about this a lot, and we form internal metas. We have our play group, which has now grown. It has increased. Our scope of players have pushed an envelope. But there's a point where you play a cube in your own little circle, right? And you get your play lines, you get your familiarity. Maybe you crack the code to that cube, say, Brian. You know the lines, maybe you know one or two ways that are the best way to winning, if that's what you're seeking, or you just know what to do and what not to do. Matter of fact, I'll go so far as to say our good friend Justin Parnell had mentioned at one point that he plays McDarby's cube, the Live the Dream cube, and he understands the code of that cube. That's been said before. Like when he sits down, he has a hard time losing it because he understands, I guess, the internal meta of that cube. Now, take my cube that had been playing in Raleigh, North Carolina, and inject it into the diversity, the array of playstyles and personalities and expectations, and a mixture of designers and play skills and personalities, and it's going around the room. The feedback changes rapidly. A card that you may have thought was really good may not be viewed well, or a card that you thought was not breaking your cube suddenly gets outed. These type things.
Like Kappa Cannoneer?
Oh, no, Kappa Cannoneer didn't make camera. Collector Oof
Like
is the one
Mystic
that
Confluence?
I should have
Like
Collector Oof.
Trigun Predator?
I'm thinking about getting a tattoo on my back of Collector Oof.
we won't talk about all of Anthony's mistakes for cards included in his cubes for CubeCon.
Or Chris with,
carry on,
or Chris
Anthony.
with Pestilence this year. Oh yeah, Chris put Pestilence in his Pauper
I'm
Cube
welcoming
this
it.
year. Shout
I'm
out to
welcoming
everyone.
it. Thank you.
But what it creates is this this learning opportunity, as you mentioned. But now, say I'm sitting across from the great Brian Kowal, and I'm playing you. And you might look at a card in your hand and you're like, oh man, that's a slam pick. And maybe you'll take the time to share me afterwards why you chose this card and this was the best card that I saw, that I didn't see it, or I'm blinded to it because I stare at them all the time. I scrolled through my list on Cube Cobra and it just doesn't mean a whole lot to me now. They're all blur. But I learn lines from playing someone like you, or say a good friend Chill, or whoever, Andy Mangold, whoever, all these people. That's my point. You get data that you would never get and on a mass scale. What do you think about that long-winded diatribe I went on there?
I think one of the coolest things I see every year is how much the cube designers are just jonesing for the data from our cube, from CubeCon.
Yeah.
Because they're able to see so many iterations of people drafting their deck. They get to like look at all the 3-0s, and like sometimes they get surprised that stuff got drafted and was successful,
Yeah, I agree with that. And so I've got one of my I've got 3 cubes in this year, and I've got the artifact cube that's been in, and that one I'm happy for it, right? I'm happy for it. Good job. It's already won the West Valley tournament or whatever. Danny Macedo's already played, but the one that I'm
it has a legacy. It kind of has a legacy award. I think it might be one of the only cubes that has been to every single CubeCon now.
Maybe.
This year.
Okay, that's exciting. Maybe there's a pin for old. I told you I went to CubeCon and I got this stupid T-shirt. I made that suggestion on the Discord. That'd be fantastic. But but I think it would be neat. Like the one I'm most excited about is Birds of Paradise again for the second time has voted in my Fem Cube, and I don't know if I'm sure you were part of that conversation and about, the challenges of such a cube and all that. But I think there's no other place that I'd rather have my vision be displayed than at CubeCon for that particular environment.
Yeah, it's cool. The FemCube, it started out a few people going, I don't know about this cube, and then you taking the criticism really well, working with them and getting it to a spot that everybody was proud of what it represented.
Yeah, it required a lot of...
Is that kind of the curve of it?
That's 100% right. I had to have a couple of people. I had to have my mom, my sister, May, and Emma Partlow beat me over the head and give me some sound advice to get it where it's at, right? And then constantly revising it and then getting feedback. When I went to the table at CubeCon, it was CubeCon 2024. I walked up, and it was wild. Such an amazing experience because I walked up on these lovely women that are enjoying this environment, having a great time, and I introduce myself and go, "Hey, is everybody having a great time?" And they're like, "What are you asking for?" And I'm like, "Well, this is my cube." And it was such an exchange when they turned around and they see this ginger guy standing here asking. But no other place could this have happened, is my point. And it was equally as daunting for me to do that, but to have that cube in what I consider as the megalodon of cube championships, the pinnacle. It just means a lot because now I have a chance to get that voice out there. The cube can speak, not me. That cube means more than that, and to have it in such an event where you've got people coming from all over the country that may not realize this short ginger man that makes beer made this thing. Doesn't matter. They get a chance to see this environment and then feel seen and feel heard while playing something that's different and unique.
Well, I think that's a great sort of sell almost, if you will, for CubeCon, right? As much as I could talk and wax lyrical about the wonderful social aspects, I could talk about the wonderful gameplay experiences, meeting all the people that I did. But for a lot of people, especially if you got a cube out there and you don't have to look for validation. I think it is more about that recognition, especially with the pride. Every person that we talk about, when we have someone on our podcast or we meet someone out in the wild and we ask to talk about their cube, the enthusiasm and the pride and the joy that people have to share their experiences with their cube, their design processes, all of that kind of stuff. So to be able to bring it to an international stage, because let's face it, that's what CubeCon is, that's more a part of that recognition. So now you're expanding outside of just, I got to play a cube and I got to go 3-0 and get a pin, which is wonderful recognition. But now you get recognition for a cube itself. And I can imagine, I have never had that honor. Anthony's had the honor. Obviously, we've got a bunch of other people in our local group that have taken cubes to CubeCon.
6 this year.
6 this year of our group that are taking cubes to CubeCon. Like, how wonderful is that for that representation? And like I say, it's not the validation, but the recognition.
I got a question for you, Brian. How do you feel about if I use this term? If I said that I respect CubeCon so much because I feel like it is the melting pot of Cube, where it takes all these local ideas and brings us all together, and now we get to have this shared experience. How do you feel about that statement?
Yeah, that works. I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, that's a huge core desire for us for CubeCon is to welcome everyone, welcome ideas, and welcome everybody to share what they have. So yeah, that makes sense to me a lot. I think it is a very diverse con because of that, and it's great to see that. Like the people who come to CubeCon look a lot more diverse to me than most Magic events I go to.
Oh, that is an excellent point. No, that's 100%. I'm sorry I didn't cling on that too immediately. The diversity of humans is amazing. Like that is a big deal. If we did Uber Cubathon, we've got our consortium where we're pretty we're a mixed bag, pretty good progressive grouping. We've got all people from all walks of life. We do all kind of celebrate that. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that. Now you've got people coming from North Carolina, California, people from
Massachusetts,
Europe, Massachusetts,
New York,
Mississippi. I mean, it's everyone coming together for one common goal: to have a great weekend, have some great drinks, whatever that may be, your Spreckers and whatnot, right? Enjoy some Cube, make some new friends. All the things. I mean, this is all we all want together as a community, and I love the fact that the vibe is still there, because I think that was one of the conversations that came up recently. So I'm gonna put a pin right here. Then you take it away there.
Sure. All right. Chill says, I'll start with thanks to the staff and judges for all the work you all do to make CubeCon a reality. My love to each of you. Well, thank you, Chill. I appreciate that.
We love you, Chill. We do love you.
All right, but anyway, idea for I do. Chill helped. He's kind of congratulating himself because he did a lot of awesome work last year on CubeCon and was a big part of its success last year. So covertly tooting his own horn because he was such a great big part of CubeCon last year, making it awesome. So thanks to him for that.
We know this. He patted his own back, but we got it. He's one of our best. He's one of our besties. You know what? We'll pat your back for you now too, Chill.
He probably didn't realize he was doing that. Honestly, it's kind of funny to call it out. All right. Anyway, idea for CubeCon next year. Number one, cut the competition. No cut to 128.64.8. No winner. Cube is about the vibes, not the competition. All right, so let me talk about this part. So early on in this podcast, I talked about how I didn't want it to be just a tournament, or a sweaty battle to crown a champion. But at the same time, I think eliminating all of that from the event also kind of excludes a perfectly valid way of enjoying Magic, which is trying to win, and thinking critically about cards and drafting and plays and strategies, and I come from a competitive background, so I do appreciate that. And also I come from a competitive background and don't appreciate a lot of it.
Yeah, so I actually want to piggyback on that. I get it. It gives you, so I'm pro and con on both sides of the fence. I actually piggybacked on his thing by saying this to you, but I think I was being more of an antagonist just because it could be, because I wanted to talk to you. I already knew that we were going to talk to you, so I kind of did this. Everything's content, baby. I stirred the pot a little bit, but
that was a setup.
Yeah,
you were setting me up.
It was very mild. I love you, but we went for it. I knew I got
wheels within wheels.
Always the ulterior motive for Anthony.
I knew I wanted to talk to you, but ultimately, you need to have structure. Having an environment that has structure. We talked to Parnell about this a long time ago. And one of the things that came up was, why is Vintage Cube your final fight? Why is it your last cube? And I know some people have went against that idea, and I'm not going to try to convince populations to change that idea, but it's also the most known. It's the one that people it's the one that people are aware of, and something about it, the prestige behind I went to top 8 and I battled it out in the Vintage Cube, whatever that may be, and I win, whatever that may be. We did it at our event too. I get that concept. So it's not about the competitive, it's about the structure. And then back to what you said, to piggyback off of your statement, you said along the lines of, well, why are we top 8ing? Why are we 64ing? Why are we 128? It is a motivational factor in order to keep momentum in the game to a degree. I love to golf, but Stu and I were talking about golfing. I know we brought up golf twice now, but if I go play golf with him, I haven't played golf in 20 years. I have a set of clubs. We're sitting there doing nothing. He does too. But when we go out to play golf, we're not playing out there just to see how many balls we can lose. I actually want to get on the green, right? But I want to get on the green and maybe walk away at the end of the day. Stu's my bestie, but I want to maybe have one under Stu. Not because I'm doing that through intent. It's just that's part of the competition. You can do this for Frisbee golf. You can do this for shuffleboard. I don't care. Bocce ball. Pick your sport. The competition aspect, it's a friendly game. That's the point of the game, is to have an outcome, right? And I do see the value. I know I'm going against what I stirred the pot with there of having kind of the steps and motions to move through to motivate people to kind of continue forward into the game. Agree, disagree.
So can I ask, do you guys play for anything?
We don't.
Is there a
we
Pride.
don't play
Pure
anything
pride.
other
Oh, no,
than
no, that's not
I
true.
was going to
Sign
say
the
other
Ricky,
than
baby.
yeah. So we have a Ricky Martin collectible card that if you 3-0 in a cube, you get to sign a Ricky Martin card that lives in that cube box, right?
You are forever in
But
the annals of history.
let's be very clear. I am not particularly competitive, and I say that, although I do try and win, right? I'm not just drafting garbage every time on purpose, so I always play cube with intent. I always try and draft a good deck. It might not be I'm just trying to draft every mid-range best card in the pack to win. There is some thought there, but I'm trying to have fun.
I push.
Anthony
I play.
is always trying to beat me.
I'm on.
And Anthony's he can say that he plays for fun. He's absolutely full of it, especially against me. Anthony always tries that little bit harder when he plays against me.
That sounds like an issue, not
So
an issue me.
and I would say but that is limited to our group, right? So Anthony might try a little bit harder against me, and I know he tries a little bit harder against our good friend Chris, aka Samage. I know he's not quite as invested emotionally to the rest of our group against beating them. So when you now expand to an event where you don't know anybody, that sort of emotional attachment to whether you win or lose is only contained within yourself, right? Unless you sit down and play a cube where you've got other friends that you know, now you're either deciding, am I playing against myself or am I playing to have fun? And again, there is a spectrum there with that. But now you've got that spectrum again of the players that, are you there to be W Key Sweatlord, I want to win everything, or are you primarily there to kind of have fun and see what the cubes are about? And I think this is a little separate from the whether or not you absolutely have to have something where you cut and something that is designed for those sweaty competitive players. And I think if you have an environment, and I will say that I never felt that CubeCon was somewhere where any kind of amount of enjoyment that I would have at the event was dependent on whether or not I was successful with, record-wise at the Cube. So for me, I don't mind the competitiveness of it. I understand that players want it. It's just, can you possibly, and I don't really think you can, put metrics on what the players want? Unless you say, hey, when you buy your ticket, you're going to click a checkbox. What are you coming for? Are you coming here to be competitive? Are you trying to win? Do you consider yourself, you're a CEDH, legacy/vintage, competitive, played Magic for 150 years kind of player? Or are you I want to be more casual and I want to be there for the social discovery kind of aspect of it, right? So again, there's not really much of a question. I suppose that's more of a statement. But for you, I suppose you've got to consider all of those different player types because you're controlling the flow of the event and how things go and the player experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I really want everybody to want to go to CubeCon and play. I do want the people who want to play as well as possible and see and test themselves as far as they can to have something to play for. I think, like, that said, we've never made it. We've always tried to make it not about the prizes. Like, if you look at the prizes for CubeCon, they're fine, but a lot of it's because we have some great partners, like MTGO always comes through and gets us a whole bunch of play points and stuff to be awarded to people. And Wizards came through last year. They're coming through this year again and are going to give us a whole bunch of like Magic Convention product to give out. So it's just but we don't there's not a cash prize or there's just a trophy, it's just it's kind of for the title, more than anything. And I like that about it.
I do too, actually. I like that. I do push it back a little bit, like I said before, against our friend Chill, even though I'm being contrary here, but I understand that it is kind of cool to say, hey, I won CubeCon this year. It's neat. It makes someone feel uplifted. But I do also understand the kind of that counter culture, that blend of it where everybody, it shouldn't be about the winning. We get that, but it's really hard. It's really hard to remove that from us. I mean, it is. Yeah. It's part of us. We all have it.
one thing we are trying to do this year is other years, like when we cut to 128, there was nothing for the other people to do. We're doing like a bonus draft at the same time as that, so you don't get to draft less. It's like so it doesn't seem like free magic you're winning, like as much. But we did the cut to 128 because we wanted more people to be able to play in that tournament part of it and without like worrying about like crushing all their cubes in order to get there,
So we had a similar it's a similar texture with, our first Uber Cubathon. We said we did cuts. That was not, I want to really clear the record on that. That was not our decision. I mean, for reasons the LGS wanted this to occur. And we were kind of put in a position where, well, all right, we do what the store tells us to because they're giving us their space, and this is what the judges want to see. We knew there was a better way. We had actually seen your model. We weren't breaking your model, trying to be punk rock here. We were kind of like a little bit bound by the idea of what we were doing.
And knew that we were a smaller event, right? So it's difficult. It's a lot more difficult to cater to an experience when you've got smaller people.
What do we do to kind of solve that kind of matters? And it's adjacent to what you're saying with the we gave side quest. So like you got washed out, and you, for whatever reason, which I didn't like this. This was not an agreement on CubeCon 1, on Uber Cubathon 1 that I had made. That social contract wasn't really even explained to me that this was going to occur. This happened on game day. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? So I had to make... I had to come up with a degree of like reciprocity here to give somebody back something for you entered my event and I want you to be cool, and all I really want you to do at the end of the day is say you had a great time. So I'm on the cheer squad moving around the room. Are you happy? I hope you're having a great time. Oh, I got washed out. All right, cool. We got you. Let's move you over to this other cube. You're no longer in the lineup to go to the vintage cube, right? I'm sorry that happened. I want to make this right. Let me buy you a beer. Sit down at this table, draft this cube that's amazing. Not everybody came back. Some people are like, oh, man, I can't believe I bought this. I got a bad roller coaster experience.
That was the lesson right there.
It was a lesson.
When people were leaving because they were out of the running after the first cube, that was like, okay, this is not...
That was a signal.
That was a huge signal. That's not the right way that we want. That's not the right message that we wanted to send for the event.
So I can see the value in what you're trying to do now. You're giving people to do something, air quotes, extracurricular post to continue a journey.
Yeah, and maybe those cubes will be more fun for people because they don't have to worry about how many points they're getting for in the event. We'll see how people respond to them. I'm hoping it's really successful though.
Which kind of leads to my trolling point that I put in there. That'll give people to be a chance to be a little bit more exploratory of different environments. I hope so. Right?
Yeah. I think whenever I enter any cube event, like I go to the Manifold ones every time they have one. The 64, they do like a 64-person cube event. They've done 3 or 4. I think they've done 4 now. And I never choose my cubes. I just random it every time, and it's great. I always end up in cubes that I wouldn't have chosen, and I've been pleasantly. I think once you get in a cube, it's like you'll be pleasantly surprised. No matter what it is.
Now, that would be my strategy is because there's a promotion for whenever there's competition for familiarity, right? So if Anthony's showing up to a competitive event that have his cubes or a cube that he's extremely familiar with, knows the meta inside out, it behooves that player to pick their own cubes or pick the cubes that they're very, very familiar with. That you could say is that sort of a problem for players being able to choose their cubes?
I put down, this was a legitimate thing that I did put in that Discord, and I meant this, and I think it would be neat for a future idea, is I kind of put it, in jest. I went to CubeCon, and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. I did this on purpose, but I said, what if you went random, like intentionally random? It was logged as random, and you did well random. That would be a neat thing. That's kind of your pin prize, right? But you went into the wilds. You just went out there and you're just like, I'm just going to try everything.
You're talking random as in the players don't get to choose their
random at CubeCon, and you just decided to play that for whatever reason. I don't know whatever the metrics or criteria are, but hypothetically, that'd be pretty neat to get a pin for I went
For sure.
I went explore mode.
Well, I think if I was doing this in a competitive event, right, which I'm not, but if I did, if I had some kind of points-based system, I would award more points to players that chose a random cube.
It's kind of wild.
Rather than if you cherry pick a cube and you go 3-0, you get 3 points. If your cubes are randomized for the event and you go 3-0, you get 6 points.
That's a pretty big boost.
Yeah,
I just made that up on the spot. I'm a genius at these events. I know, but but there's an incentive for, again. And some players, and we've heard this from multiple players, that they were not interested unless they were able to choose their own cubes. Like, that was the experience that they wanted. You pays your money, you takes your choice, fine, if that's what you want. But for me, I would be heavily incentivized to randomize.
You could do like an Oregon Trail pin, and it's like, I explored.
And I also don't want to say, I don't think most people choose their cubes trying to game the system necessarily. I think most people who go to CubeCon are just trying to find the cubes that are most interesting to them and play them. So I think it's kind of like that you're painting a nightmare scenario that I'm not sure actually happens that much. I don't know how many people are like trying to choose cubes that they know they're going to smash everybody in. Like, maybe it is, but I haven't. I don't feel like I've seen that happening.
I don't think so either. I don't think anybody's either also not writing Dear Diary on their socials saying that I tried to crush CubeCon by following lines. But if they do that, that's fine too. I happen to know there's one person that I do know that comes and seeks me out every year. What's your cubes you got in? How do I win? And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Like that that is actually a real thing. I can attest to that. But that's okay. I mean, they want to win. I get it. How can I support you? Ultimately, I just wanted to say that was a fun experience, but
draft the good cards.
To each their own.
Just tell them, draft the good cards.
I'll also say that hot tip for CubeCon, if you do go full random, I believe Hedron Network boosts your chances to get the cube you want in the next one.
Oh, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. Yeah, that's neat.
Like, because if you don't get your choices, I know it boosts your algorithm. If you get like your third choice for a cube or something like that, it'll give you more algorithm points for getting the cube you want in the one you do after that. If you get your first choice, you get less.
I'm going to do something super uncomfortable. I'm not going to win CubeCon, but I think I'm going to hit spin that wheel this year. I can't sit here and talk all this smack and not hit spin that wheel. So I'm going to spin the wheel.
That's awesome.
I'm going to do it. Everybody call me out if you see me not doing it, but I'm going to spin the wheel. Let's go.
I think the scariest part for spinning the wheel for people is like they want to be able to like read through what the cube's all about and what cards are in it before they hop in.
Not going to do that.
I don't care. Right. I don't care how good you are. It's going to be hard to like really compete in a cube if you like just have no idea what's up with it in some cases.
We joke. Yeah. I want to beat Stu. I mean, I don't want to beat people I've never met before. I have no dog in the race here in this story, right? I have no goal. I just want to meet them. I just want to know them. I want to beat Stu. It's different. We're friends. We can do that, right? I mean, but that leaves the minute I get on that truck.
What if we put you in Stu's cube every time? How are they doing?
Stu's got to get a cube first. He's got a digital one that we're going to talk about on a future episode, which we will, now that you're in our Discord, we will invite you to play. We've been grinding some cubes. Stu has now made one cube called the Diablo cube that we're going to be talking about online. I would love to have you play that. But in CubeCon, I've got 3. Our good friend Chris has 2. He's got the Pauper and Peasant, which I'm excited about the Pauper. And then our friend Sam has the Sam single-sided shiny cube. It's hard to say.
Shiny single-sided cube.
It's a lot of cube, but it's really neat. Artist is
shiny shingles.
Shingle. He's got the shingle cube.
But not shingles.
Cube.
The shingy cube.
But not shingles. Okay?
He's got shingles.
He's there in person. Let's not scare people away. But yeah, like you say, we have a lot of representation at CubeCon. That's been a great sort of, I think, sense of pride for everybody in our group, right? I know I mentioned this before, but that is something that I was so proud of even the first time we went, and it was just the 4 of us that went to CubeCon.
You, Chris, and Christian.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So this year, are you guys doing coverage or anything like that to kind of, it's a good way for people to be seen?
Yeah, Rashad Miller is going to be back running coverage for us, and the idea is we're going to do a charity stream with it to benefit either mental health or suicide prevention. We haven't picked the charity yet, but yeah, we're hoping to get like a good number of remote commentators out there to help out with that and help raise some money.
Are you going to have the live commentary crew that you've had previously, kind of, shot calling the cards out? Is that kind of the scheme again, or is it changed or evolved?
It's probably going to be more offsite people. We might have we'll probably have a couple there doing some stuff, but we're not going to. In-person coverage turns out to be very expensive, and after last year we're decided to go in this direction and try it out.
Okay. And is there going to be the cheese standalone again? That's kind of the cool, that's a neat event. Is that happening?
Yeah, this year we're doing it as a championship event where we we tried to invite champions of other cube conventions, like the Uber Cube champion. We invited them.
Oh, Ben.
And
yeah.
Nice.
That's going to be nice. Ben got that sick taiga, by the way. Yep. That was one of our prizes.
Nice.
Altered taiga.
Yeah. So the idea was it'd be like a cube championship the first day.
Oh, I'm
and
excited.
That would be the cheese
now you've
event.
got me hooked. Ben, don't let me down. You got this, Ben. Representing North Carolina. Let's go.
That was actually something that we were going to talk about, was like a show match kind of style sub event, right? Where you've got players that are representing, because it's not really talked about too much, but I can imagine there's going to be a time in the future, I'm convinced of it, where this becomes much more of a thing, is that you've got we're in North Carolina in the Raleigh area, you've got Capital Cube Championships, you've got folks in New York and Boston and Cali and Wisconsin and so on and so forth. So having like this show match kind of event where you've got all these champions show up to like battle for regional supremacy is like, what a great draw that will be. And certainly so I would say for the content, right? Giving people a reason or another reason to want to tune in to kind of support their region is really cool.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I think some of the Q events are a little more lukewarm on taking part in it than others. But the idea of it was
we got our fighter. Let's go.
The idea of it was to boost all the. Well, Ben's real good.
Yeah, he's extremely good.
That's me sweet. Yeah. But I think it'll be fun. Well, we'll fill it in. Like from Wisconsin, the Manivault champions are Caleb and Sam Black.
We are in. All right, Ben, you got game. Let's go. We'll get you a T-shirt, Ben.
Look, Ben's not gonna have a problem.
Ben was so cool.
He don't care about names.
So cool.
Yeah, he cares about wins.
I will get a T-shirt though for Ben if he
totally
takes it.
You
got to take
get him
this.
an Uber Cube. Get him an Uber Cube T-shirt.
Yeah, represent, bro.
All right, I'd like to know. So we've talked about the event. I'd like to just, and maybe we're kind of finishing off a little bit. I don't know how you are for time. Tell us in your thoughts about the progression of just KubeCon, the event, over the last few years. Like you say, we're now heading into year 4 for KubeCon. We've gone from a much smaller event, like 170 or so people in iteration number 1. Mm-hmm. We're now flowing through year 4 and into the future. Just give us your thoughts and your wax lyrical a little bit about just how KubeCon has changed, either the event or for the people and the interactions with you have over the last few years.
It's the overarching vision, right? Where you're at and where you want to go.
Well, I feel like we've talked about it kind of a lot already. But like, it's just keeping it able to be something that appeals to like a wide variety of players, always to like promote Cube and show off all these great cubes that everybody builds, and giving them, that pedestal, to like so more people can just see them and enjoy them. I guess it's kind of just trying to keep it going. And it's getting different because like now there's so many of these other Cube events happening all over the country that we're not the only show in town anymore. So it's kind of like just what I want is for it to be like the gathering ground for all of these other events and people and organizers and cube designers to all get together and share their ideas and share their cubes. And,
I feel like that's the perception, because all the you call it the regional events. I think that's exactly what they are. But a lot of these regional events are obviously much smaller. They're not as high profile. KubeCon has always felt, since iteration number 1 and now moving forward, KubeCon has always felt like, not to downplay the importance of the regional events, because I think they are incredibly important for the format, for the social aspect of it. But KubeCon has always felt like it's the big one, right? It's I don't want to say the most important, but it is.
We said it earlier. I said it, to quote a great person right here talking right now, but the melting pot of Cube, right? So you've got all these, you got South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, New York, California, and they have their champions. We all have we joked about this, but we've all had our play styles, our metas, our ideas. I would go so far to say is, I'm fortunate enough, I'm going next week. I hope this comes out in time. I'm going to go play in Oklahoma with Bones and Cade and get to play some Desert Cube. They're into that vibe, but maybe take the Desert Cube and push it across the country. Maybe they're like, what's a Desert Cube? Why do I want to play this, right? So there's metas, there's vibes, there's ideas. KubeCon's bringing all these into one little melting pot. It's a chili. It's a chili of Cube. There we go, chili. And it's a cool idea to actually get us all together to share these ideas from all, we have a lot of distance between us. Now we can all kind of come together and just melt.
Play Cube.
Talk
about Cube.
Melt into Cube.
Vibe about Cube. Yeah.
Long pause.
Sounds good. Yeah. We could keep talking about chills. we only got through the first sentence.
No, keep going. Keep tearing.
I don't know how long you guys want to talk. I can keep it going if you want to keep.
No, keep it
talking.
going. We got time.
Yeah, this is your platform. We want to give you talk about what is important to you to get out there for sure.
So we're continuing with the trail that Chilled laid out in the question.
Yeah, we haven't run through the whole schedule either. I feel like we lost all of our.
This is how it goes. We kind of bounce around all over the place. Anthony's got
and that's fine. A little bit of everything,
That's right. ADHD.
Okay, so he said the next thing he said was prize tickets can still be given out, though he thinks it's unnecessary. Though I think it's unnecessary. The real bragging rights are 3-0 pins. So, we'll keep giving out pins, But the prize tickets, the only reason we started doing the prize tickets is because we started getting all the stuff from Wizards, and we wanted to have a good way to give it back out to the people at the event. The big issue is, because of the structure of KubeCon, the big prizes, there's no way for anybody to win enough tickets to get them, short of like trading. So then we did like the raffle. That's why we did the raffle system for the big cards and stuff, which I think is kind of fun. Then I understand this will likely increase judging costs, but will increase offered structured cubing. I want to maximize options to play main event cubes in a structured setting. I don't know why he thinks that'll increase judging costs. Feature matches can still be a thing if desired.
we can solve that with a phone call. But
get him on here. All right.
I already tried to pull him in. We're calling out Chill now. You made bold statements. We were going to try to
cold call.
Yeah, I could literally phone a friend.
Get in here.
I could phone a friend right
Justify yourself.
Carry on, though.
Feature matches can still be a thing if desired, because showcasing cool cubes and showcasing cube players is cool. And we're going to keep doing that. Like, I do love the part of coverage where we get to put some cubes online and show people drafting them. Under the current event competition structure, main event ticket holders who do not top 64, top 8 have no included events on Sunday. That's kind of by design, because we didn't go through the whole schedule, but like Sunday is the top 64, top 8 day. And classically, anytime you have a convention, you want to get out of there at the right time, because it can be pretty bad if you don't. So we kind of have always left the last day as like an open cubing day for most people. And I kind of like that. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
No, I feel jealous because we bounce out on Sunday, and every time we do that, someone like David McDarby goes, "Hey, do you guys want a cube?" No, man, I got to get on the road. I got to drive to Ohio so I can stop halfway and or go to Raleigh. So every Sunday is when the actual, like, again, it's the Thursday vibe, right? Everybody's chill. We're coming down again. And then Sunday, I got to bounce because I got to get back to work and get back to my real life. So I've never had the leisure of truly enjoying a Sunday. And I've been tempted on numerous occasions, like, I could just stay till like 4 p.m., but I know I got to get on this road and drive because we got an 18-hour drive in a minivan full of individuals who are going to talk about Cube for ad nauseum on the ride. So that's my feelings on the Sunday. I am frankly don't want to talk about Cube for probably 2 to 3 weeks post CubeCon because I had enough Cube. I love cake. I don't want to eat the whole cake. It's too much cake. I start feeling a little.
I don't think I played Magic for like 2 months.
So to answer your
CubeCon.
Sunday
I didn't
question,
even want to look at a Magic card.
I've had all the cake I need at this point. No more cake. We're taking a cake break.
Things might be different.
You're not Homer Simpson in hell.
No, I am not. No more cake for me.
More.
More cake.
I would say things might have been because I think the travel as well. Like it's exhausting for us. We're driving all the way from North Carolina. The drive was it was like 17 hours for us. So I think I would have stayed. Came on Wednesday night, came to the store, done it all day Thursday, Friday, and then hung out. And Anthony's not kidding. I mean, we were getting invites left, right, and center on that Sunday morning. Like, hey, this afternoon we're going here. We're going to draft here. We're going to go to this hotel or this store or this place, whatever. And we were like, yeah, we've got to get on the road though, man. We got a long drive home, but I would have, and that's just the nature of the event being a little further away from us.
And I would have just,
but I would have been about it.
If you just rejected our cubes going forward, just soft man all Uber Cube stuff, then we can just fly and we can actually play on Sunday. I have an easy solution. There you go.
There's an easier solution that Anthony doesn't want to talk about.
I don't want to carry those through TSA.
But yeah. So,
yeah, a lot of TSA people, you can just say, "Hey, they're Magic cards."
You know what? They know every time because they always know. I go like, you MTG bro. I'm like, yeah, I do. Cool. I saw it in the scanner, but it's a thing that we do. Any more chill prompts?
Oh, well, he said, you can simplify the ticket structure and just have a single CubeCon ticket, not split between main and core. All side events can be charged extra, much like a normal convention, like Cubioki and even Barcube. That part, I don't know. How do you feel about the main event versus side ticket?
You want me to go? I'll go unfiltered. I'm just going to say it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is going to get. Feel free to send all this hate mail at chillmtg.com@gmail. But I really feel like sometimes the free play can consume the main play. When you start trying to the main event, to a degree, is the draw. It's the reason why we're there. I was concerned at the Uber Cubathons, the small events I did, if I started saying, it did come up, can we do side drafts instead of doing this event? Can we just draft one of your cubes for free? And I wanted to say yes. God, I wanted to say yes. But my attendees to fill out the event would get consumed by individuals that just, I understand why. They just want to come out and draft some cube, have a good time. But I'm trying to focus on this event and actually prop it up and make it realized, right? So I had this real tear that bothered me. Stu knows this bothered me. I wanted people just to play. But if I said, yeah, you can just play this cube for free and don't worry about us, it felt like I was detracting from what I was trying to do, and I couldn't keep repeating it and justifying the existence of what I was attempting to do in North Carolina, because otherwise I just need to say, hey, everybody want to just play cube for free. Which I know that's a perfect world, but it pulled away from what I was trying to form here from a structure.
But I think also because...
Does that make sense to anybody besides on that rant?
Okay. We had people show up who traveled and brought their cubes and put a lot of effort in and paid their money and paid for gas and all that kind of stuff to get there and bring these experiences for people. So for me, I felt like if you want to come and you want a cube, I want to offer that to you, but I wanted to offer that to people within the framework of the event rather than it just be show up. And that's the end of it.
And I felt like that wasn't the engaging, but it inadvertently detracted from the ones that invested their time.
Exactly.
It wasn't something we could control.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally open cube anywhere. You know, I mean, it's
Exactly.
There's something to be said for getting a lot of open cubers together in one spot, and I like that. But let's build a big. You want to build a big sweet thing, and if they come in open cube, they're not building your big sweet thing, right? Like
Yes.
I don't know the big event you
No,
want.
you're right.
And
There's,
that just-
there's no only for people who've ran these events would really understand that dichotomy of these two ideas. You want 64 people just come hang out and play cube. That would be the best day. But you have to have some form of structure despite all that, and then pay for the space and the time and have all this cost.
You can't just think about the people that said, "Hey, I want to show up and be casual," when you've marketed the event to show up with this structured event. Because, like you say, people can show up if you can get your 8 players and a cube together. You can play anytime. But we wanted people to show up within the framework and enjoy the event within the framework that we'd structured it for. So I agree.
I'll say the hardest part about running KubeCon, one of the hardest parts is picking the number, because we have to just guess how many people we're going to get or how high the interest is going to be in October, in January. And in January we have to be like, this is what we're going to build the con, how many people are going to be able to accommodate, because we can't just have a convention where we sell as many tickets as we can. If we build a con for 600 people and 800 show up, we don't have enough cubes. We'd have to last minute. And if any cube event could do that, it'd probably be KubeCon. But it's still it just makes a lot more sense to engineer that and try to make a guess, so that get enough cubes to cover that, get enough judges to cover that. And this year, I'll be honest, attendance has slowed down a little bit this year from last year. We're going to have to, we've rolled back amount of judges and stuff. I'm not sure what the plan is with all of the cubes that we have coming, but it might be a little different this year as far as how many times cubes get drafted, But I will say this. I'm going to make sure everybody has a cube there. It gets drafted. I hope at least twice,
Well, full disclosure for the listeners and for yourself, we have openly observed that. I did not want to bring that point up, but there's multiple reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because I empathize and understand the experience that all of you are going through. I get it. And I want to make sure that everybody that entered a cube gets a chance for the cube to get played. This is a thing. This is being real now. We're being real. But I saw that, and that's why I wanted to talk about how special and how important KubeCon is. We joked about, I say this all in jest when I talked about the Megalodon and the final fight and all that, and the boss fight, whatever you want to call it, right? It's all joking. It's having fun. KubeCon is near and dear and extremely important to a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Besides the fact the first people that all got together and said, hey, let's do this on a mass scale. We want this to survive. This is extremely important. This idea thrives, right? It thrives for a lot of reasons. And then you got all these cool offshoots that have happened and all these things. This is the only direction that the trajectory of something like this goes, right? Is people see the model, they mimic the model, they make the model happen. But the idea, the core element of what you're doing, when I say the melting pot, I say that with the deepest respect, is that I want to ensure that every person you've got right now, I believe 95 cubes, give or takes, don't quote me on that. And attendance right now is, it is what we all deal with. I was sweating. He can promise you that I was sweating when I saw my ticket sales not hitting the metrics that I had assumed they would. But we're in kind of a cube desert. Madison, Wisconsin is not a cube desert. You guys have a lot of things, but we want to prop you guys up. That's my whole point, is to really help this idea thrive. We wanted to bring you on, talk about this. We want this to be successful because the community and everybody coming together is so important that it's something that we just can't afford. We can't afford to lose this idea. This has been hard. This has been a hard fight for all of us to get Cube to be recognized in outside of, we like to say we're the punk rock, we're the indie rock of, magic or whatever. But ultimately, it means more to the idea of people are doing self-expression, time investment, working hard on these cubes. So I think it's vital, it's important that we support this air quotes cause, right? Even through these, all the pros and cons and misgivings or whatever you like, you didn't like, who cares? Yeah. The idea is wonderful in my mind.
I hope people remember that this still is a grassroots convention.
It is,
and we're not the man. We're not like corporate cube convention. It's not. I don't run it like that. We don't have goals to like even make. I don't have any goal to make money off KubeCon. I just want it to happen forever, and I want to keep it going. So, yeah, I guess I'll sign off. Please be a part of it. Please come to the event. It's the best event out there. It will be the best event again this year. And I think the last 3 years, it's just been like, I've been shocked every year at how much more amazing the convention was than even I thought it would be before it happened. So
no matter what, the experience is wonderful, and we will make it wonderful, and we'll have the best time ever. And you're going to meet a lot of cool people. That is the only pitch that I can really offer. You're going to make friends that you didn't even know. You might have not met them IRL, right? You've talked to them on Discord. You've been excited to meet them. You like their ideas. You like this exchange. This is an opportunity for all of us to get together. And like the dichotomy cube that we talked about in the beginning, I didn't want to play that cube. I met that person. That person blew my mind with what they were trying to message, that I signed up and immediately and absolutely adored that cube.
The cubes that you like, you'll be surprised by them when you show up at a place like KubeCon and you're thinking, I don't know about that one. And then you play it, and suddenly it's like, this is one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in Magic in my life.
So I'm going to tell you, we have no interest, no investment in KubeCon other than we love it. Get your tickets for KubeCon. Come meet Stu, myself, and Brian. Come hang out. Make friends. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make friends. We're going to keep this idea, this dream alive of a certain person that we all adore. This is a dream, right? And we're going to toast with your Spreckers again one more time, brother, because this is Team Sprecker right here.
I'm all out of root beer, but I'll still...
we can still rub an empty toast.
Cheers to
Empty
Spreckers.
toast. And then, other than that, you
Cheers
got
to John.
I think here's to John.
To John.
Cheers to John.
Cheers
the
to John.
vision that John
To John.
had. Everybody love you.
Yeah.
John did the thing.
Yeah. All right, first of all, again, a huge thanks to Brian Kowal from the KubeCon. Big thanks to coming and hanging out and spending some time with us today. Go check out KubeCon.org. Get your tickets for KubeCon 2025. Still a few left available. And we'd love to see you up there. Come hang out. Come see
in the
game.
show notes.
Yeah, there you
Got
go.
you covered.
What show? Well, show notes.
Show notes.
In the show notes. The
Show
notes of the show.
notes.
Notes of the show. As always, I want to start out a huge thanks to all of our Patreons, to Patrick, Jeff, to Nick LaPointe, Chris Fitzgerald, Timber Dragon, Brian Christensen, Keaton Schultz, Lord Justice, to Preston, to Sam McKenna. A big thank you to all of you guys for just helping keep the lights on here at UberCube and all of the ongoing support. You can also use our inkedgaming.com/UberCube affiliate link if you want to get some nice large volume and custom products available there for your Magic experience, be it Cube or whatever else you're into. Come hang out with us on the socials. You can follow us at ubercubemtgpodcast.bsky.social or at ubercubemtgpod on Twitter. If you got a longer comment or question about this episode or a previous episode or just the podcast in general, you can reach us at ubercubemtgpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a YouTube channel, Ubercube MTG Podcast 747, if you want to go check out episodes there. And once again, a big thanks to all of our Patreons at patreon.com/ubercube. Much appreciated for all the ongoing support. And with that,
We're going to say the thing that we always say here at UberCube, but a little bit different. Happy
Happy
CubeCon.
CubeCon.
CubeCon. Let's